So as you've seen there, the South African tourism industry is slowly getting back on its feet, and the Northwest Province no exception. Local travellers are extensively travelling to areas around Rustenburg and Hartebeespoortdam, but there are still some challenges, especially where overseas travellers are concerned. Lizette Labuskachny and video journalist Jabua Africa compiled this report.
A hidden gem. One of just more than a handful of pianos ever made with extra keys. Specially imported for the opening of the Palace of the Lost City 30 years ago.
When I was 4 years old, that's when the palace opened and the piano, this Bosendova, it was played by Liberace. I never thought in a million years I'll be here and be privileged to play this piano, but God willingly I'm here today. And I'm making history too.
And a special guest book, signed by the many famous performers who graced our shores.
Good evening, South Africa. This is the moment I remember. I personally served Elton John, and I was his butler on the day, and the entire stay that he was here having a concert with us. The meals that he preferred was just the salad because he was going to a concert, not having a heavy meal. He loved his wine, and they tried our South African wines as well. So this is the great moment that will stay with my heart until I die.
Although this iconic resort did not escape the impact of the coronavirus pandemic, they managed to avoid job cuts. Previously a firm favourite among overseas travellers, this trend has changed.
I think in a very perverse way, COVID led to a rediscovery of South Africa by South Africans. And what an exciting thing, because we have so many amazing products in South Africa, so many corners of the country that are hidden away with the most incredible niche product. So I think a lot of South Africans have rediscovered South Africa, and from a financial perspective, instead of going offshore, I'm not sure what the rand-dollar exchange rate was yesterday, but it's a tough proposition right now to take your family offshore. So we're really buoyant at the moment from a domestic perspective, and as I say, I'm really looking forward to the return in earnest of the international business.
A lack of affordable local air travel is, however, a huge concern for industry role players.
Right now, probably one of the biggest challenges we have, and it's a nice challenge to have, but it's a difficult one to fix, is our domestic air capacity. Obviously, post the Kalula fallover or the BA Comair fallover, we've got a severe constraint around domestic capacity, and one can't have a situation where our domestic sectors are costing us as much, or costing a customer as much as the international sectors.
According to Northwest Tourism, the sector is slowly recovering, after it has been underfunded recently, with money redirected to critical departments during the pandemic. Poor road infrastructure and accessibility to tourism sites is another concern.
We are the only province that does not have a functional airport. So it's difficult, especially for the long-haul tourist, to access our province. They will always go to Johannesburg, Cape Town, or the nearest, maybe Kimberley, but they are forced to drive on the road. So we need a lot of stakeholders to get involved.
Despite the many challenges, there is hope that in the coming year, there will be many reasons to celebrate. Lizette Labuskachny, SABC News, Rustenburg.
Jeff Mabunda is the Chief Executive Officer of the Northwest Tourism Board. He joins us now. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us. So tourist arrivals in South Africa in November are expected to be at around 590,000 by the end of the quarter. How much of that do you account for in the Northwest Province yourself, and have you seen that boom that we've been talking about?
Thank you very much, and good evening to you, Piso, and the viewers. Yes, our slice usually is around 6% of the total number of arrivals to the country. So we're expecting to get not less than 6% of the 590,000 international tourists coming to our province. We have already started to see the increase in terms of the international tourist feed in the province. As I speak to you, we have seen the eastern part of the province, which is the Hartebeespoortdam, right up to Sun City, starting to pick up. There are a number of the tourists that are coming from the Asian markets in particular, that we are witnessing them already consuming our products. So the short of it is that we will be receiving not less than 6% of the 590,000 international tourists in the province.
And which of those products are most popular and why? I mean, we've just been showing visuals of the Palace of the Lost City at Sun City. One of the, I think the managers or the patrons there saying that they are seeing more domestic tourism as well. Can you share with us the trends that you're seeing this particular quarter?
Thank you so much once more. We are already picking up in terms of the wildlife experience, and that is the main attraction to the international tourist. You will realize that we have experienced some good rains recently, and nature and rain, these are best friends. Now, what is happening is it has made it very easy for the international tourist to see the animals or the types of the animals that they expect to see. So that phenomenon has increased the visibility in terms of the wildlife experience. But also we are looking at the leisure market that we are already receiving in the province. You have mentioned Sun City. So we have seen quite a number of, especially the domestic market, flocking into our province, mainly for weekend escapes and also to relax a little bit and also for entertainment. And if you look at the geographical position of our province, we share borders with Gauteng. Gauteng is a very busy province. It's a regional city. And therefore, most people, when they want to relax, they'll go to the nearest or the neighboring provinces. And we are one of them. So we are receiving a lot of domestic tourists in the Hartebeespoortdam, mainly for leisure, mainly for relaxation. And also we are receiving them in our game reserve or national parks. We start to see the number growing because people want to interact with nature, which is this time of the year. That's what we'd love to do. We've been busy throughout the year and now want to interact and fellowship with nature. So we are seeing the numbers picking up in the eastern and the central part of the province because of the two phenomena.
Just in terms of, I was looking at this trading economics global macro models, analysis and expectations, but looking at South Africa in particular, the Northwest province, typically how long does this season last? If we talk about the festive season, whether it's a local or international travel within the province, how long does it last? And you've already mentioned the popular products. Are there any new trends that you're noticing?
Yeah, let me start first by the first part of the question. How long does it last? In the province, our festive season begins around the 10th of December and is going to extend up to around the 5th of January. But we are different from other provinces because we attract quite a number of the Asian market, in particular the Chinese tourists. And the Chinese celebrate their New Year in February, and they prefer Sun City. So even beyond the festive season, we are expecting a high number of the Asian market, especially in the eastern part of the province, but in particular Sun City. But also let me come to the second part of your question. The new trends that we are picking up currently is that we see the movement of tourists spreading towards the rural areas in the province, which is a very interesting phenomenon. As I speak to you today, the 26th of December, I'm coming from the village called Mabunda, where every year on the 26th of December, there's a celebration that we call in Setswana, the Drupa, where they demonstrate what used to happen when our fathers were part of the soldiers that were taking part in the First and the Second World Wars. And that festival attracts quite a number of people. Today, I don't have the consolidated and verified statistics yet, but I can tell you not less than 20,000 people converged at Mabunda, and that's a rural place. But also, 2 days from now, we'll be going to the western part of the province, which is a village known as Taung, where we're going to have what we usually call the music festival, the DJ Nation Festival that takes place annually. And we are expecting the high volumes of people to flock into that area. But not only that, we have also witnessed that the capital city, which is Mahikeng, also has experienced the high volumes of the domestic tourists, mainly because of the different events that are happening in this city. And in the southern part of the province, the areas like Potchefstroom and Klerksdorp, we expect the high volumes of domestic tourists around the 31st December up to the 1st and 2nd of January. Now, this is mainly because of the cultural festivals that we usually host in the province. So that has increased in terms of the volumes of tourists to our province this time of the festive season. But we are also going to experience a high number in terms of the Asian market in the month of February, where they celebrate their New Year.
Jeff Mabunda, Head of Tourism in the Northwest Province, thank you very much for your time and sharing your insights with us.